Welcome, everybody, to Generation Viewpoint. Yet another great episode with Evan and I. Did you like that? Now, see, I used to get confused by that, Evan, not to get off topic. Not that we even started a topic
We never
yet.
are on topic when we start.
We didn't even start a topic. I'm already saying we're off topic. But is it me and Evan or Evan and I? Because I always thought it was always the other person first and then you. But then I was reading like...
Yeah, you have to take out the thing. Like the so it has to be like I'm sitting next to... Or what was your sentence? I forget your sentence.
Evan and I. You're joining us with Evan and I. Here we are, right?
So you would say, so you're joining I. Doesn't make sense. So you're joining me. So it'd be Evan and me.
Oh, not me and Evan.
Never me. It's always the person before you.
So you're joining Evan and me here. That just sounds weird.
I know,
man.
it sounds weird because everyone says I.
Well, I was always told that. It's always I.
But I learned from my witch of a teacher from a few years ago.
Witch of a teacher. That sounds like a candy bar or something like that. I don't know.
She was like, you got to take out that part. And then if it doesn't sound good, then it's wrong.
I love it.
I'm like, okay.
No, very good. Well, we got that figured out. So glad we could give you a grammar lesson this morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. So as you know, our episodes come out 7 a.m. every Monday and Thursday. So you can be listening to this on the way to work right now or
on a run
or at work. Hopefully not, but hey, you could be.
Hey, you listen to it whenever you want.
Whenever you want.
It's your life.
We're here for you whenever it's most convenient. So I want to start this episode, Evan, if I could, on some listener questions. 2 listener questions that I want to go over.
That's awesome.
All right. I know. I love hearing questions from our listeners. So please, if you're listening right now or you're watching on YouTube, please submit your questions for us to talk about because that's so exciting to hear.
Yeah.
So here is question number 1 for all of us to think about and for you and I to discuss it. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. So here's the scenario. When driving the car and listening to music, is it proper for your passenger to shut the music off and start making phone calls without asking the driver? Thoughts?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
For the passenger to shut the music off and start talking on the phone.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Maybe not shut it off, but turn it down.
Okay. How about adjust the temperature in the car?
Nope.
All right. So
or change the radio station. Not allowed.
All right. So I guess we've always had this kind of unwritten rule in the car that the driver gets to listen to whatever they want to on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a loose rule because there are certain things that do get overruled.
Well,
yeah.
With Mom.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I didn't say that. All right. I never said that. I just said that things happen in the car sometimes. All right. So I am innocent. And temperature is kind of determined by both. So you were saying right now that the temperature is determined by the driver and driver alone?
Yes. No matter who I'm driving with.
Okay.
When I'm the passenger.
Yes.
They are in complete control. Even when they say you can change it if you want.
Yes.
I ain't touching it.
Okay.
Because
the driver
has to be as comfortable as possible to be as safe as possible.
Yes.
So if I'm uncomfortable,
right,
stinks for me.
All right. So in this particular case, and as the question is stated, you are in support of the passenger that they are okay in turning the radio down or off and making phone calls while the driver is driving.
Yeah.
You're in support of that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. So that answers that question. Me as a driver, not a big fan, but I guess I'd be okay with it. So let's go to the second question. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Here's the second scenario. Notice that we're not telling who submitted these questions to protect the innocent. So you can submit questions and, just tell us, hey, keep it anonymous, and we can put these out there, and then nobody will know the wiser.
Yeah.
You're protected because we care about you.
That's right.
There. All right, second question. Here we go. You go to bed early after a long day, leaving your partner watching TV in the living room. 20 minutes later, they decide they want to watch TV in the bedroom, keeping you awake. Right or wrong?
Well, for light sleepers, it's wrong, but for me, I don't care because I can fall asleep to a thunderstorm.
Okay, so you would sleep through it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this question is coming from somebody who's having a hard time sleeping because they have now come into the bedroom to watch TV
Yeah.
and is interrupting their sleep.
Yeah.
All right? Now, let's look at this another way. I would say that the reason why the second person came into the bedroom was to be close to the other person because they were away all day, right? It said you go to bed after a long day. That means you probably had a long day, maybe you were away.
Yeah.
So they came in to be near them, but yet they're disrupting them. So do you think the person coming into the room, turning the TV on and keeping the other person awake is in the right or in the wrong?
The wrong.
In the wrong. Why are they in the wrong?
Because the person's trying to sleep.
Okay. So it's a matter of being courteous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, very good. So the person who submitted this question, I'm sure, is going to tell the other person, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble, not me. I love it, man. That's
Whatever.
Fantastic. These are great questions.
Well, the other person, I can talk myself out of being in
Do
trouble.
you know who these are from?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, I forgot. I thought I was the only one who could see it on my screen.
No,
I
it's
forgot that we share it.
It's right here.
The problem with using Evernote is that
Yes.
everybody, if you share it, it's all shared. Stink. I should have took that name off of there. That's so funny. So, all right. So here's a question for you, Ev. So as I have gotten older, my music has a tendency to be stuck with what I grew up with and love and know. And so when I get in a car and I'm going to listen to music that's stored on the hard drive or on my phone or whatever it is, I tend to gravitate towards the things that I know and love, right?
Yeah.
Which means that I'm really not subjected that much to new music, right? So how do you find, I guess, in a day where it's not like a pile of CDs, like you have to purposely go and look for new music to be exposed to.
Yeah.
Where do you go now to expose yourself to new music? And where would you tell somebody like myself to go to find new music and things to listen to?
I spend a lot of time on Spotify.
Okay.
But then I also go on rabbit trails on YouTube because YouTube is notorious for rabbit trails.
Yeah.
So I can start on like Rihanna or Taylor Swift or something and end up with someone who has 100 followers,
Okay.
but they have great music. So I add it to my playlist.
Interesting. Okay. So do you think YouTube is like one of the best places to find new music then?
No, I mean, I spend most of my time on Spotify, like I said.
Now, how do you find new music on Spotify, though? Are you listening to a radio station on Spotify or something, or
No.
you're looking for an unknown name?
On Spotify, where I go is on the main page. You can scroll down a little, and it gives you groupings of playlists that you can go onto. And I love indie music, so I
Okay.
go on the indie section, and then I just pick a random playlist, and then I hit play.
Yeah.
And then when I'm doing stuff, if I like the song,
Yeah.
then I'll add it to a list. And then once I go through the playlist, then I go to my list and then check out each band.
I think I'm falling asleep.
Why are you
over here.
falling-
Holy cow. So anybody who's, well, that's not true. Not anybody my age. You're saying a whole lot of stuff right now, and my head is spinning. So anybody who's even older than I am is going, he does what? First of all, I don't even know what undie music is.
Indie.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You said undie.
Yes, because it's similar.
No, it's not.
Like I said, it's not similar. So indie music, I don't know what that is. Second off, so I know what Spotify is. I use Spotify. And for
Yeah.
everybody out there who doesn't use Spotify or doesn't understand what it is, it's simply a music sharing service. It's like Netflix, but for music. It's very similar to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing different on there that I have noticed is that people can build a music list and share it, and then you can go listen to their music list.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do that too.
Okay. All right. So you go in there and just search through and listen to other people's lists, and then you hear new music come up through it. Is that so?
Yes. And then I add songs from their lists to my lists.
Got it. Okay. All right. I it's funny because I still get in, like I said, I get in the car and I tend to gravitate towards music that I've always loved instead of finding new stuff. One thing I've loved about having you guys around is I hear the music that you guys are listening to. And so some of that stuff I pick up over time and I enjoy listening to. Other stuff I not so much. 21 Pilots I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. What are you going to do when we're all gone?
Honestly, I don't know.
Soon?
Like, seriously.
Once I'm gone, you're just going to be stuck with, like, Taylor Swift in One Direction. You're going to go crazy.
Well, I don't like One Direction or Taylor. That would be an interesting social study out there, is to find how people's music, what they listen to, right, the demographic change, once their kids leave home. So do they stay up to date on modern music, and then as soon as the kids are gone, all of a sudden they're out of date on new music and they're stuck from that point and before?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting study.
That would be a little.
Because I get the exposure that I get is from hearing what you guys are listening to.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't know about that. But very good. Well, I've got a question for you, Ev.
Okay.
All right. So you had an experience earlier this year, okay, with a teacher.
Oh, my word.
I just want to talk about this.
El Diablo.
Don't know what that meant, but that's okay.
It means the devil in Spanish.
That wasn't very nice. You take that back.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So anyways, you had an experience with a teacher that really had it out for you.
Yeah.
And did things intentionally to make things difficult for you just because we don't know what the motivation was, right? And normally, kids complain about teachers, along the way. That's normal. But I would say I've seen the facts, and I support your what you thought was going on. That this person is just being difficult to be difficult, and so I agree with that. So, anyway, so this happened to you, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of leads into a question that goes along with that. All right, because we all have tough times, all of us. We have tough people that come into our lives. Right now, some of our listeners and viewers have somebody in their life, whether it's at work, at home, that purposefully makes things tough for us, okay? And we all have to learn how to handle that, which isn't always easy, especially to handle it with grace. One thing that you did the other day was when you were going through this, was you were going to send an email, and you said, you know what, I really can't send this email today because I know it wouldn't come across nice.
Yeah.
And that was very wise of you to know that about yourself, that right now is not the time to handle that.
Yeah.
But anyways, the question that it brought up, and I just wanted to touch on this before our episode ends because I thought it was important, was the question is, does suffering make us stronger and lead us to success? Because you went through that suffering, right? Where you're dealing with a difficult person and made a couple weeks of your life or a month of your life, month and a half, whatever, very tough. So, do you think that suffering, right? None of us want to go through suffering. None of us, okay? Yeah. But let's say that we know that we're going to have to go through it. In the end, does that suffering make us stronger and make us more prepared for success along the way?
I think it does.
Can you explain that a little bit more? Like your insight. Why would you agree with that statement? Why would you say yes to that?
I mean, you learn lessons in... It's like a failure.
Right.
Like you learn lessons from your failure.
Yes.
So you get better from going through that.
Right.
So it's kind of the same concept.
Okay. Yep.
So by being tortured or whatever, not necessarily tortured, but going through something hard, you learn how to go through that. I don't know. Like I
know how to manage that difficulty. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I agree. None of us wants to be in a tough time. We don't want to be in a tough relationship. We don't want to be in a tough place at work where they're making things hard for us. None of us want to have that. And I think we've touched on this before in other podcast episodes about, handling adversity and things like that. But, I just want to ask that specific question. And so by making you stronger, then it definitely helps you move towards success, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a stronger person. You've been through handling adversity with another person, so you've learned tips on how to handle that person, right? Whereas before you wouldn't have had those tools, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, would you go as far to say, now this is going to be a far stretch for everybody right now, okay? If we know that suffering in a tough time makes us stronger and helps get us closer to success, can you look back at a suffering and tough moment and be glad that it happened? When you know the outcome will move you further and make you stronger, can you actually be thankful for going through a tough time?
I think once you're past it, you can.
What if we could find a way to be thankful for it in the middle of it? I mean, that's hard. That's like a stretch. And everybody right now is going, what? But imagine being in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And being able to say to yourself, I know right now, right?
Yeah.
That this is making me stronger and moving me towards success. And although I don't like it, I'm thankful that I'm right here in this tough moment because it's making me stronger right now.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that. That, I think, is taking total ownership of the reality and looking forward thinking instead of living in the moment of today, which is not comfortable.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Easier said than done, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, for you, and for everybody listening and watching right now, they're like, yeah, right. But just imagine if we could get ourselves to that place.
Yeah.
That would be powerful.
Yeah, it would.
So I would say, Ev, I think that maybe that's something that we all can kind of think about, next couple of days, is challenging ourselves to be thankful for the tough time when we're in the tough time. That's hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that we can think about. So awesome. Well, that's a whole nother episode, Ev.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So hope everybody got some great stuff out of that. We'd love to know your opinion on those questions that we had today. So maybe we can run a poll out there on some of those and just see what the feedback is on the car and the TV in the bedroom thing. I'm curious on that one. So, but awesome. Anyways, have a great week, and we really look forward to joining you once again. See you later.
See ya. Remember, we're on iTunes and Stitcher, and as always, thanks for being awesome.